Shout out to Twins Hangout Kenya for posting this video yesterday about Black Santas everywhere in the US. They were talking about essentially how Black Santas are popping up all over all of the stores at CVS, Walgreens, any of the craft stores, and they're popping up in droves. And they were sharing about the experience of many Black Americans who are trying to really kind of understand what's going on, what's really going on. But I wanted to hit this from a different dynamic, a couple of different dynamics. So I'm going to share a couple of things. And y'all, the older I get, the more things that I am discovering, the more things that I'm learning. Now, actually, a few years ago, I did a live discussion, a teaching called The Tale of Two Nicholases. And I'm going to post it up here so you guys can watch it. It is very, very detailed and very informative about the roots of Christmas and why it is that we need to leave it alone. But one of the things that I didn't cover in it is what I'm going to cover today. And this is something that I just learned. Let's take a deeper dive into the history of Santa Claus before he was whitewashed.
All right, y'all, so boom. So this goof made it all the way to the news for saying that Black Santa made me stop believing. Well, I got some bad news for the world. This is actually what St. Nicholas looked like. He was a black man who worked inside of Russia at orphanages and would bring gifts to the kids in order as a checks and balance system to keep them, you understand, well behaved. He would not bring gifts for the children who misbehaved. This is located in a book known as Russian Icons. This is the cover of the book I personally have inside my collection. I get all my rare books from A Books, but as you can see, this book is almost $3,000. If you're able to find it on Amazon, because it's rarely ever on there, it's typically $1,250. When I purchased it, it was $80. Why is this book so expensive? Is this more information they're trying to keep away from us?
St. Nicholas was a kind bishop who lived in what is now Turkey. Nicholas was the bishop of Myra, located in the ancient region of Lycia. One night, he quietly visited the house of a poor family while they were asleep. Through an open window, he tossed in a bag of gold coins. The next morning, the family was overjoyed, but Nicholas asked them to thank God instead of him. He enjoyed giving gifts secretly, and his generosity became so famous that people still remember him today. On his feast day, December 6th, many people continue the tradition of giving gifts. The ruins of the basilica built over his tomb were excavated in the 1800s. Over time, the story of St. Nicholas evolved and became the figure we know as Santa Claus, the one who brings presents to children on Christmas Eve. If you paid attention to this part-type whitewash in the comments section. Sinterklaas is a Dutch figure inspired by St. Nicholas. Sinterklaas is accompanied by Zwart Piet, Black Pete, a helper dressed in Moorish attire with a painted black face. Traditionally, Zwart Piet's face is black because he is said to be a Moor from Spain. Though today children are told that his face is blackened with soot because he has to climb through chimneys to deliver gifts for Sinterklaas. Older Sinterklaas songs tell of naughty children being put into Zwart Piet's bag and taken back to Spain, referencing the times when Moors raided European coasts and took enemy combatants into slavery. One song states that although Zwart Piet is black, you can trust him. In contemporary versions of the Sinterklaas celebration, there are various types of Zwart Piet for different tasks, such as the head Piet, hoofd Piet, the navigation Piet, Wegwees Piet, who steers the steamboat from Spain to the Netherlands, the presents Piet, Pakjes Piet, who wraps the gifts, and the acrobatic Piet who climbs roofs and chimneys. The various Zwarte Piets who assist Sinterklaas become Santa's elves in the American version of the Dutch tradition. Forbes published an article titled The Unbearable Whiteness of Pieting, Dutch Santa's Blackface Elves, which explains, according to tradition, Sinterklaas is accompanied by 6 to 8 black men, originally Moors from Spain, actually from what is now Bari, Italy, which was under Spanish sovereignty at the time. These men were not so much helpers of Sinterklaas, but rather his slaves.
Now, I covered Sinterklaas and Pierre Novet in my Tale of Two Nicholases teaching, so I definitely think that you should check that out. What I did not know is that Nicholas, even though I knew he came from Turkey, that he was actually a very dark-skinned man, and some people even believe that he was of Hebrew stock. Now, I don't know much about that, so I can't even speak to that. But the Russian Icons book is a prime example of the whitewashing of this character. But I don't want y'all to get it twisted for 1 minute. I am dealing with this history only because of the fact that this information, like so much other information, has been hidden from us. And did y'all hear when they said that the Moors, it was a depiction of the Moors who were in Spain, who were black, just like the book The Jews and Moors in Spain talks about how both the Jews and the Moors were black people, are black people, and that, of course, was taken out of history. But we're going to go into this whole thing of Black Santa being pushed in the culture today, 2025, and what's the real agenda behind it. Y'all take a listen.
I need y'all to help me understand what's going on here, because why all of a sudden, after all of these Christmases, you've got CVS, Walgreens, and Burlington all displaying Black Santa Claus front and center? I ain't mad or nothing, but let's ask the real question. Why now? Because we've been invisible in these wonder winterlands, but now when the economy is shaky and you guys understand how powerful the black dollar really is, you're pulling stunts like this?
So I'm in CVS and this is what I see. Okay, cool. Black Santa. But also what I look up and see is
Is this a sign of representation, or are y'all really trying to buy us back this Christmas? I'm confused here, you know?
you wonder, what was this 20, 30 years ago when you needed a Black Santa? But better yet, who are these people? And it's kind of making me wonder.
In Burlington, they made sure to erect this giant Black Santa Claus. Look at them, y'all. I didn't even know that y'all made these. I can't believe it. I've never seen these in my life.
Bro, get on my nerves so bad. Because now y'all want to have all the black ornaments and stuff. And I know before y'all say we ain't never satisfied when it wasn't any. Now we got them. Be quiet. Yeah, but this ain't what that is. Because we shouldn't have never had to advocate to have brown ornaments and stuff anyway.
They got the ornaments too, y'all. I can't believe it. People are finally waking up, because we're waking up. We're realizing who we really are. I told y'all, everything coming back to us, y'all. But stay strong, my people. Holidays canceled. Let's continue to get this shift, y'all.
There's been an uptick of black TikTokers who have been talking about going into stores and seeing more and more Christmas paraphernalia that is made in their image. And they're confused about why, and they're wondering, is this dealing with the economy? Are they trying to get our black dollars? What is this sudden representation about? Well, what we need to understand is that this so-called representation is not representation at all. This representation is nothing more than black idolatry. The purpose of black idolatry is the same purpose of feeding our ancestors swine. It is to continue the curse. It is about continuing the curse on us. Because the second commandment in the scriptures, you know, the ones that we're actually supposed to follow, it says, you shall have no mighty ones, no gods, no elves before me. And as a matter of fact, it goes on and says, you shall not make graven images of anything that is on the earth, in the air, or even in the sea, to bow down and worship it. But the problem is that our people are continuously hungry to be just like the other nations. Now, it's great to know the history that is coming out, that the Nicholas character, the old Saint Nick, if you will, it's finally coming out, that he actually was black. The Russian icons show it. However, black or not, we're not called to bow down, to purchase these idols, put them in our home, and teach our children that because it's black, it's acceptable now to have it in our home. You see, we continue to fall for the plan of the enemy. When we do these things, we bring about curse on ourselves. A lot of our people and Gentiles are waking up and sharing the truth about Christmas, that it has nothing to do with the birth of the Messiah. As you see, there's no talk about the birth of Messiah, but it has everything to do with the worship of Tammuz, the false god that was born on December 25th. And because of that reason, these conglomerates, these corporations that worship the beast, they must push forth to the children of Israel the idolatry and worship of the black idol before them, that they can continue in the curse. You see, The curse impacts us because we're supposed to know better. We're supposed to be followers of the commandments. That's both Old Covenant and New. You see, the tablets of stone, Old Covenant. Tablets of stone being put on your heart, that's the New Covenant through Yahushua HaMashiach. And the reality is that as long as we continue to defy the Most High, we will be destroyed with the heathen nations. So yes, we can look at it and say, oh, it's based on the economy. But do we not understand that the disruption of the economy is based on the Most High judging the Gentile nations for what they've done to us? But when we feed into it for quote unquote representation, thinking that this is just an economy issue, and not understanding that it is spiritual first, and our spiritual energy is what they are harvesting so that they can continue to keep us in curse, so that they continue to be so-called blessed off of us financially, then we're still not getting it. At the end of the day, it is idol worship, and the idols that we serve and put before the Most High will keep us in bondage. So my recommendation to you, to all of us, is to stay away from Black Santa images, Christmas, all of those things which the Most High despises because it's rooted in idolatry. That's my thought. That's my position on this. It's so much bigger than the economy. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe if you have not already done so. And don't forget to hit that notification bell on your right so that you can get my latest updates as they come out. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, Yah bless.